Hello, hello, and good day to you. Ugh, it is Saturday already, time for a travel marketeering Saturday session. So glad that you could join me. I am your host, Joshua Harrell. Very, very happy to be here and to guide you on this journey of travel marketeering, selling your travel products and services through systems. So let's take the artsy, magical elements of branding and marketing, and let's get some systems. Let's dissect things, make it bite sized, make it manageable, make it something that you can incorporate into your workflow to help grow your business, drive leads, build your brand awareness, all the good things, right? Right. I'm so glad that if you are joining me live, wherever you are joining me live from, so glad that you are here. Wherever you are watching right now, please drop in a little where you watching from, what you might have on the agenda today. Doesn't have to be travel marketing related. It could be, you could be doing some more fun things than travel marketing, although I could not imagine what else you could be doing. Now, of course, if you have to miss any part of this, or you might already know this because you're watching this on demand, this show is available on demand on a playlist within the WorldVia Travel Network YouTube channel. So if you're not a subscriber of that channel, please join. That is where you can watch this. You can find out what's coming up. You can also watch loads of other content about your travel business. Lots of other creators on that channel. Other than me, I'm just your chief travel marketeer, and I'm here to play with you today. Now, if you are new to our community, welcome, of course. All are welcome. We have many members from WorldVia Travel Network, but we have some that are not. So everyone is welcome. We even have some of our travel partner friends joining us, which is always, always fun. So all are welcome. But a little shorthand, going to get you up to speed really fast. When you hear us talking, and it's mainly me talking, but because you guys are so active in the chat, I'm talking to you. But when you hear something that you're like, yes, you can give a big TM for travel marketeering. It's sort of our amen. And also, if you are a fan of the Love Travel Live Travel show that my partner in crime, Jason Block, and I would do, producer Evan, those who know him love him. He is responsible for a lot of the content that we put out. He found a sound effect a long time ago, and I have found it. And as much as I'm going to give you a TM, every once in a while, I might give you a
Yeah, girl.
yeah. I have to say that for several years, we were using that sound effect in the Love Travel Live Travel show. And I have to say it's a pretty cool experience when you walk into a room or you're at an event or you go on a main stage and people in the audience are shouting out, "Yeah, girl." Our little British yeah girl, she is back and she's going to be joining us on Saturdays just so I can have another voice in the mix to keep it interesting, right? Now, today we are going to be talking about, and there's a lot of topics that we talk about over and over again. Travel marketeering is very interconnected. I mean, there's so much interconnectivity within branding and marketing. Yes, there are going to be topics that we resurface, we talk about again. I'm always going to try to talk about it in a little different way, or maybe help connect it for you a little bit better. Now, I will tell you this: I've been doing this for donkey's years. I've been working in the travel business for nearly 8 years, and as much as I preach all about travel marketing, 9 times out of 10, I hear from entrepreneurs and advisors that they have not yet done the thing that they know that they're supposed to do. And that is okay. But I'm just going to tell you this is why some topics seem similar because as much as I talk about them, some of y'all do not jump on it and get it to happen. So today we're going to talk specifically about how to craft travel newsletters that get open, opened, sorry, past tense, read, and clicked. Okay. So, no, we're not talking about email newsletter platforms. Although, if you have questions about it, please drop it in the chat. But, it almost felt like I was gonna just, break out into "Drop it like it's hot." Drop it like it's hot, sorry. So we're not necessarily gonna be talking about the mechanics of, deploying email, broadcast emails through an email service provider. We're really gonna be talking about crafting those newsletters, again, to get them opened, to get them read, and to get them clicked. We're gonna talk about that a lot. So, I if you have a newsletter, then and I'm not already a subscriber to it, I will give you my permission right now. My email address is Joshua, Joshua, at worldvia.com. Please subscribe me to your newsletter because I'd like to see what you're doing with all this travel marketeering. I'm a part of a few of your newsletters, and I love it. And I love that I've been a part of some of your newsletters for years, and I've watched this evolution. And that's part and parcel with why I come to you on Saturdays. I love talking about travel marketeering, but I have so many travelpreneurs that I get to work with and I've been blessed to work with over the years that I have seen these things work. I'm not just reading a book and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna share this information." I know the stuff works. You just got to listen to me. Just do the things that I say, right? I just do those things. So anyway, yes, please add me. And I am going to pop over to the chat in just one moment. One more reminder, if you are not yet a part of our private Facebook group, go to Facebook and search Travel Marketeers. I've got it right there on the screen. Search for Travel Marketeers. This is a private Facebook group. You are welcome to join. These are travel marketeers, people who join these sessions, maybe infrequently or frequently. But what we're trying to build there is a community of people who are looking to be inspired by each other, share wins, share challenges, share some tips along the way, right? And just create that community because at the end of the day, I have been in your shoes many times over as an entrepreneur. And when you are a solopreneur, meaning it is just you in the business, it can get very, very lonely. They say get very lonely at the top, but it's also very lonely at the bottom and the middle and all the in between stages, right? So tap into this community of travel marketeers because I guarantee you're going to find some inspiration. And I go back to Rebecca had posted a few weeks back. We were talking about going live on social media, and she challenged herself every day of a week. She was going to go live, and she shared a victory lap that she had gone live every day that week, and she had lessons. It wasn't just, "Oh, I did the thing, I won." No, she had things that she learned, and she shared that with the group, and that's the magic of our community. So, please search Travel Marketeers, join. We have to let you in, but, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to get in. You just have to watch one of these sessions, right? All right, let us go over to the chat. And again, thank you guys for being here. I know, especially if you're joining us live, you're taking a chunk out of your day, but I guarantee you there's going to be some nugget, whether it's something I'm sharing or what you guys are sharing in the audience live that we'll bring into the show. This is where the magic happens. Okay, let's see what's going on. All right, Rocky, Flights and Fables. He's loving them beats. You like that little dance intro there, guys? Just so you know, the reason why I do the countdown clock now that we are broadcasting live. So this is a tip for you if you're doing any kind of Facebook lives, Instagram lives, anything like that. And what I'm using is a broadcasting tool. I'm in a Mac environment, so I'm using a broadcasting tool called Ecamm. You don't need that to go live. You don't need that to go live. But I got to work for 20 years in television, and I love all the little things, especially when I get to do a
Yeah, girl!
I love all the things that I get to do within this environment. But what this does is it allows me to broadcast on multiple channels at one time. Okay. Well, whenever you're doing even if you're not connecting to multiple channels, you're just on one channel, it takes a little bit for people to find you. Like they get the notification on their phone and, they're not waiting right at noon to join. So that little notification, it helps everybody get settled and find you. So even if you're going live on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, whatever, allow yourself for about 2 minutes. Don't tell all the good stuff in the first 2 minutes, right? Don't do that because you're gonna miss out. Have a little warm-up time. So, the little dance break is a little warm-up time, and there you go. For those of you who are going live, there's your little nugget there. Christine, oh, so good to see you. Howdy from Texas. Gonna be in Texas, in a few months for, the WorldVia World 25. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Connie, hi from Florida. Packing for a cruise. Connie, you gotta share what cruise you're going on, where you're going to, okay? People wanna know. Let's see, Rocky, North Carolina, smoking some beef ribs, Texas style. What is it? Is today Texas theme day? I don't know. I love it, Rocky. So glad that you're here. It is Melissa. Maybe Chris is there. Good morning from Minnesota. Good to see you. A big TM to you. Rashika, hi from Orlando while washing clothes. LOL. You know what? That's perfect. You know what? People talk about multitasking all the time. You could watch, and you could be watching a Netflix program folding laundry, or you could be watching me, and we could be talking about travel marketeering, maybe getting some nuggets so you can apply it to your business. I love it. Oh, and here's my friend, Erica WorldVia. This is Erica Scanelli, our Director of Member Development over at WorldVia and responsible for all of our educational and event opportunities within our network, and also just a really wicked, smart kind of person. So happy Saturday. I'm on the road to North Carolina for some barbecue. All right. Is that what's happening? Rocky is expecting you. I didn't get that memo or that invitation. Rashika is on her way too. Uh, Melissa said I should drive that way too. Texas style beef ribs sound delish. Okay, you guys you're just really loving the ribs. And Erica, I'm gonna give you a yeah,
Yeah,
girl.
girl!
Yeah, girl. Christine's giving us a TM. Heather, love it. There we go, Rashika. Let's see. Oh, okay, Carrie. Hello. Did you get that? You did an exclamation point, so I emphasized the hello. Hello. My name is Carrie from Tennessee. I'm a brand spanking new person to the travel industry. Oh, I didn't do my exclamation point. I am currently training with a great host agency. I love your show. Well, welcome, Carrie. You are going to find that the travel industry is the most awesomest industry that ever there was. It is one that I joined and I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. And everybody I met, they were like, oh, once you get in the travel industry, you're never going to get out of it. And I see what they mean. It's just too cool. It's just too wonderful. Oh, and our director of agency development, Miss Laura De Vega, she said, "Oop, the yeah girls are back." Yes, you are right,
Yeah,
Laura.
girl!
And while I've got Laura on the show here, well, she's not on the show, but she's in the show. I don't know. If you have not watched yet the Elevate Your Travel Agency sessions that Laura puts on almost every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is, to me, it encapsulates so many things that you want to know about running your travel business. So she infuses business acumen, she infuses travel industry knowledge. There's marketing, there's sales tips, there's general organization. I mean, it is action packed. And what a great community around Elevate, too. So I think between Elevate and travel marketeering, you have the power. Yeah, you like that? See, the thing is that Laura and Erica, because we work so closely on the team, they get all of these antics all the time, and yet they're still here on a weekend watching this, and I didn't make them do it. I'm just saying, maybe we're onto something here. And it looks like Carrie's getting welcomes all over the place, and then Heather, are we synced cosmically? She said, "This is what I'm working on this week." So excited. So Heather, are you working on your newsletter? You know what? It's almost like I got zapped by cosmic energy. I love it. And Carrie says, "Hey y'all, thanks for the welcomes. Super to be here." Yep, you are in the right place, Carrie. So glad that you're here. And Melissa said, "I just added you and sent my first newsletter that I sent out the other day your way." Sorry, I can't read. I'm so excited for today's topic. I am too. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Connie said, "Just a quick 4-day sale on MSC to take my brother on his first cruise. How exciting!" Oops, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
girl.
girl. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Uh, isn't that awesome to be able to share with family and friends the like new travel experiences? I think that is so cool. I was able to take my mom on a river cruise. It was her first river cruise, and I tell you what, it was the best way for her to see. I can't actually remember where we were in Europe, but it was the best way for her to see without having to, shuffle all around Europe, which I have made her do before. And just what that adventure of traveling with a group of people that you get to know while you're on the cruise. That was wonderful, and she still talks about it today that that was such a great trip. So I know you're gonna have a great time with your brother on the MSC cruise, and I'm glad that you are, watching this while you're packing. Arlisa said, "Hello from Arkansas." Connie is giving some love, Erica, and Laura is getting some love from Connie too. Laura's sessions are so good. Erica is saying, "I'm a big fan of Elevate, pow." Because that's the
Yeah, girl.
visual equivalent of "Yeah, girl." Melissa, TM, the Elevate sessions are great. Rocky said this and the Elevate sessions are amazing. Wow, you guys, can you feel the love tonight? Or this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are. All right. So today, like I said, we are going to be talking about how to craft your travel newsletter to get opened, read, and clicked. Let me share my screen here. There I am. Hi, I'm just a little bubble floating over here. I'm just having a good time. All right. So I'm going to take you through uh, some guidance around your newsletter strategy. Okay. Uh, there's so many different tools that you can use for deploying your newsletter, okay? Um, and if you're a member of WorldVia Travel Network, you get Email Plus, you get a free email newsletter platform to send out newsletters, emails of all types, create landing pages. We even have shared campaigns that you can use for promotions, as well as we've got some travel-centric newsletters that you can use each month. You get new ones. So that was my pitch on Email Plus. So if you are a member of our network and you haven't signed up for it, please do. Uh-oh, is there an echo? Melissa said she's hearing an echo. Is that just her or me? Yes, echo. What happened? Okay, stand by. I appreciate you guys. Let's see if I can fix it. Is there an echo now? Correct. Yeah, I am echoing. But did I stop echoing? This is the part on travel marketeering where we dance. Okay, somebody answer me. Am I still echoing? More echoes. Oh, you can't tell me this is happening. Okay, let's see if we get off the fancy mic and we go to. I really love live broadcasts. I really do. All
All
right.
right.
Is
Is
that
that
echoing?
echoing?
Still
Still
echoing.
echoing.
What
What
is
is
happening?
happening?
All right. Am I echoing now? We're not going to talk about newsletters. I'm just going to echo. I'm echoing in stereo. Guys, I don't know how to fix that. Have I been echoing since the very beginning? Little more clarity. Okay. All right, let me try one more thing, okay? This is so much fun. Oh, I am not. Oh my goodness. So much drama. Okay. Are we Can I move on? Are we good? Can you hear okay? Perfect. Okay. So, so you just roll with it, right? It's the show must go on. All right, so now I'm distracted. I'm coming back to the planet. Thank you guys. See, this is if you don't join me live every week, then how I would just be echoing. It would just be a hot mess. No, we're not going to do that. All right. So, talking about newsletters, email platforms, I was plugging Email Plus. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. I think I figured out what I had done wrong. Very good. All right. Got it. We're good. So lots of platforms, and I can talk about platforms, but I really thought today we would talk about strategy and something that when you're creating content for your newsletter, I think that there is a lot of creative procrastination, and I've talked about this before. I'm going to come back to me. Um, let's see. So I've talked about procrastination before. It is this. I don't want to get started because I need to mull it over a little bit, and sometimes that creative procrastination is good. Like you need a little time. Like maybe you don't need to just like jump in right away. Maybe you do need to mull it over a little bit, and that's okay. But creative procrastination, and I use it a lot, can lead to not creative and not productive procrastination. Okay, so it's okay to mull things over a little bit, right? You don't you want to think about you want to think things through, but a lot of times you don't know where to start. And that is getting started is the hardest part. And so when we talk about publishing articles and social posts, we say just publish it, just publish it. You can always either learn from it or pull it down and start again. But if you don't embrace that activity of just publishing, then you just failed to start, right? So in talking today, I wanted to talk about the things that you should look for and the things that you should think about because I think it will help you feel more confident when you're creating your newsletter. It will also help you feel more in control of the process. I hear oftentimes people talk about their newsletters and it it is something that they release. I'm glad they release it, but they don't think it's working. They don't know how to tell if it's working. So it feels like something that they've produced and pushed out to the void, and it just that you don't feel in control. So we're going to talk about controls, measurement, and keeping it real, right? You might have a list of 3 people, you might have a list of 30 people, you might have a list of thousands of people, right? These All of these things that we're gonna talk about today all apply, okay? Now, Melissa said that she's added me to her newsletter. Fantastic. If any of you who have joined me live have a newsletter, I'd love for you to drop in the chat, say, "I have a newsletter," and how often that newsletter drops to your audience, okay? Just to, share with everyone else on the in the session today, because I think many people are holding themselves to, a standard that is not based in reality. So, most people do not get their newsletter out on a regular basis. That happens. It's not good. It's not good, but don't assume that everyone else has their stuff together, because we're all in it doing the best that we can, and that is absolutely fine. All right, I'm gonna pop back over to my screen, and I think we are good with the echo. I figured out what it was. It was there was a setting on my wonderful Ecamm, which I think is hilarious that Erica is here. And I started talking about Ecamm earlier because she hates Ecamm. So yeah, it works every other time, right, Erica? All right, so let's dive in. So why does email matter for travel agencies? Some of you need some proof, right? So that's what I'm going to give you right here. So here's some stats that I think they're not that you don't have to commit them to memory, but I think that it's helpful in illustrating why email matters. So on, on average, people see a 4.4x ROI compared to social media marketing. Email has more traction than social media does. Think about it. When are you checking your email? When you're in the mode of emails. Okay. And I don't think anybody's like, oh my God, I love being in my emails. I don't think they do. But when you're in social media, that's entertainment, right? So I'm not necessarily gonna take action. I'm not in that same mindset. I wanna get inspired by social, but I need it to be quick, right? So just different mindsets there. So 4.4x ROI on email versus social media. 59% say that travelers say that email affects booking decisions. Now, what does that mean? I mean, these are all stats from different sources, right? But what does that mean? It's saying that email, whether it's coming from a travel agency or a travel brand of some sort, receiving that content influences their decisions. It might not influence their decision to buy, but it influences their or buy in that moment, it influences their decisions somewhere along the way, okay? And we're not always in the mode of shopping for travel. Okay. I'm not going to get it twisted. That is, somebody is not dying for email to drop in their inbox every single month so they can make a decision on buying travel. This is a steady precipitation, not a monsoon when it comes to branding and marketing, right? You want to be consistent, you want to keep planting the seeds, but know that it does influence people. It plants seeds that can grow into gigantic trees, not just pumpkin vines. They can grow to gigantic trees. And most marketers, especially the travel marketers, are saying 78% effectiveness with email marketing. That is still the top channel for marketing. Now, I'm wondering if you're sitting there listening, and you're like, oh my gosh, I get so many emails. I just don't even pay attention to any of them. Okay, thank you. Yes, that is true, right? But that's true for you. There are people who are not in email punishment the way some of us are, right? There are people that don't get as many emails, or people that treat their emails the way the Victorians used to treat snail mail that would be delivered twice a day on their street, right? It's something that they want to go through those emails, and they want to read those emails. And there's another thing too. Some people read every single email from the top to the bottom. I don't. I bet you don't either. However, people do. So stop taking your view of email and applying it to the world. Okay. If you are not doing email marketing, which is so easy to do and to get out to it's the one of the easiest things that you can do in terms of marketing. If you are not doing it, some other marketer, some other travelpreneur is eating your lunch. They're doing it and they're seeing it be effective. Okay, don't it is if you follow any big brands, Target, Sephora, the Disney company, any of these big brands that we know, how often are they sending emails? A lot. Why would they do that? They don't just feel like, oh, I'm gonna have a whole team of people that do emails just because. No, why it works. That's why they're doing the emails. So if I can get a TM on that, I will feel very good about that. All right, so let's talk about the anatomy of a high converting travel newsletter. And I'll say this, what I'm about to give you is not just about the travel industry. This is email marketing uh, standards. I'm not going to say basics because there's still a lot of companies that don't do this right. But this is common knowledge within the marketing, the sales and marketing community. Okay. And I see the TMs are coming in. I love it. I love it. I'm going to just pop some of those in just for validation. Uh, all right. So let's talk about the anatomy. And this is going back to what I said this session was going to be about crafting those travel newsletters that get open, get read, and get clicked. Okay. So we're going to keep on talking about that. Okay. The very first thing of utmost importance in every email newsletter. Now, you might say it's a picture. You might say that, but I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but I'm gonna say you're wrong, okay? No, not the picture, because if that subject line is not tight, I'm never gonna open that email to see that picture. Did you think about that? How many of you out there, and you don't have to lay claim to it, think about the subject line as the very last thing? I hope that after today, it is the very first thing you do when you are crafting your email. Because think about it, they're going to see who the email is from. And in some cases, they might not recognize the company name. Okay. They might know you and they know you have a travel agency, but they don't, maybe it's too early for them to connect you and the agency name. So maybe you're sending it on behalf of your company. So that who it's coming from plays into our decisions to open an email, but then right next to it, we wanna see what is in if I click this, what am I going to uncover? How am I going to be transformed? And transform is a big word, but what is going to happen to me when I click on this? So I'll give you an example. So WorldVia, we have several weekly emails that go out, and they're roundups of content that's put on WorldVia Pro, our member hub. So we do one for events, we do one for the news, and we do one for promotions. Okay. So our team is constantly putting content into WorldVia Pro. Fantastic. So we use an email tool that is pulling everything new or everything that's in the air at that moment. So the event email pulls all the events for the coming week. That drops on Sundays. So then our members can plan for the week. Now, that's so I love that we have this system. So we were like, "Oh, let's make sure that if we're putting content in, let's not have to worry about crafting an email and designing an email every single week. Let's just make sure that that's always going out. So that way, if someone didn't see it in WorldVia Pro, they would at least get it in their inbox in a digestible format." Okay, so this has been going on, I would say a little bit over a year. And one of the things that was just overlooked in the initial stages. I think we were more concerned with how could these emails automatically, how could these roundup emails be created? So, and it was so great. They were. And then we kind of, I mean, this is so bad. And I can't believe I'm showing you the ugly bits, but we stopped looking at the subject line. The subject line was just going to say, here's your news for the week and the date. Okay. Now, that sounds as exciting as we painted our garage. Would you like to look at it? No, I would not. Now, those who knew that that's where information would come from, I'm sure that they would they were opening it. But in general, what's the most exciting thing this week? What is the thing I can't miss, or maybe something new just launched? New commission increase or something, right? Get that in the subject line. Make the the recipient want to click and open it. So now that has been taken care of. But I'm mortified that it lasted this long because I've always known that. You evaluate the effectiveness of an email on first that subject line because that subject line gets them to open. So one of the measurements when you are looking at the performance of your email is your open rate. How many emails were sent versus how many were open. That is the very first metric that any marketer is looking at when it comes to email marketing, the open rate. Now, the I always do this. I jump ahead a little bit, and I'm gonna pause for a second. Um, so there is an industry average, and I'll give you that in just a moment. But as a whole, if you are close to 30%, you are rocking the Casbah, okay? That is that is amazing. Sephora, Target, Disney, they would love a 30% open rate, okay? Now, what does that tell you? That that is not normal, okay? But that is you're wanting to get as close to 30 as possible. Now, what does that also tell you? That you should assume that the majority of your list is not going to open your emails and be okay with that because that 30%, that 20 to 30% who are opening the email, they're your audience, right? You want to captivate them. So I wanted to plant those seeds. Now, here, I'm giving you a tip here. 41 to 50 characters perform best when you're looking at subject lines. So, you don't want to have this gigantic subject line. You want to keep it succinct and to the point. Okay. And remember, it's something I'm going to look at quickly when I'm going through my email on mobile or on my desktop. Okay. So, it just needs to grab my attention but don't make it too long. And in particular, don't circle the airport too many times before you land, which is a little inside joke because Erica just said that to me yesterday that she was waiting for the plane to land when I was talking. But anyway, I digress. But sometimes you can put in a lot of filler words before you get to a special promotion with Colette tours or something like that, right? Or a special opportunity to travel to Ireland, something like that. That's a very bad subject line, but I'm just saying you could say some people could add extra words like, in this edition of my newsletter, I'm going to be talking about many great things, plus this awesome, specially priced trip to Ireland. Okay, well, that's way more than 41 to 50 characters. And at that point, it's all truncated. So I'm going to see really boring wind up information on that subject line. Okay. So you don't want that. You want to get to the point, make it fun, throw some emojis in. And here's a tip, y'all. If you are using any kind of AI tool to improve your writing, I'm telling you 41 to 50 characters work best. Now you can go a little bit over, right? So if you have an email newsletter You've written the copy. Maybe you did it with an AI tool. Drop that into the AI tool, and then say, "Write me a compelling subject line between 41 and 50 characters based on this information," right? It works really well, guys, and whenever I use AI tools to help me improve my marketing, I learn. It's not just doing the work for me, it's teaching me. So, leverage those tools, please, please, please. But remember, your open rate, very first measurement when you're looking at your emails, and you want to that right there is what is going to get them to open, all right? Not what's inside. They don't know. Now, the second most important thing is the preview text. So if you're in your inbox and you see Joshua from WorldVia, uh, special news coming to you this week, okay? And then you see the little bit of text underneath that within your email program, that's the preview text. It's not the whole email, but it can help reinforce that subject line, okay? So you wanna use it. So if I have, special news dropping this week, maybe in the preview text, I tell a little bit more because I have some more characters I can play with. Um, New commission rate with supplier X, available May 1st, okay? Well, there, even if I don't open the email, I got I got the gist of the what this email is about, and if that sounds interesting to me, then what am I gonna do? Click on that, I'm gonna open it. Now, it's the second most important thing because all your emails will have a subject line, but some people have their inbox set to not show preview text. So you want to use it to complement the subject line when you can, right? Or you want it to for those who have that turned on so they can see it. But you don't want to put information in there that isn't going to be in the body of your email because some people won't see that preview text. So you want to leverage that preview text. That's going to help increase that open rate. Now, the other thing I love about a preview text, a good preview text gets me really excited. No, what I love about a preview text is there are some things that you want to communicate that someone doesn't even need to read the whole email for, and that's okay. If it's something, now extended hours or gift cards available, visit our store. I'm just throwing out random things. That alone, you've just interrupted my day because it's come into my inbox. You've interrupted my flow of my correspondence, with a message that, is gonna sync for me. I'm gonna hold on to that. So, you've still done your part, all right? There could be ways to tease it out a little bit more and get them to open the email, but you are communicating, and at the end of the day, that's what marketing is all about. It's communicating your and delivering your brand promise. So it's still good. Now, you open up this email. Okay, so now you did a good job with that subject line. Okay, so you did a good job with that subject line. Now you need a good header. The header is gonna be that bolded, that larger text that's on the email, and it needs to be very much like the subject line. They need to be in tandem. What if your subject line said, "Get free biscuits," and I know that that wouldn't be your travel agency's email, but it was, "Get free biscuits" was the subject line, and you're like, "I think I will have some free biscuits," and you click on it, and it's about how to invest, in, ETFs, so investment advice. Okay, that's disjointed. Don't do that, right? The subject line needs to flow right in to that preview text, right into that headline, and it needs to convey the brand. So it doesn't necessarily have words that convey the brand, but in that header you can have your logo. It's always preferable to have a hero image, just a really nice image that if I don't read a word on that page, I see Mickey Mouse in front of the Sleeping Beauty castle, right? I know we're talking about Disneyland, okay? I don't even read the words yet, but from that image, I see that. Or I see a happy traveler on at a sandals or something like that. You want that hero image to show up right when the email opens. Right when I open the email, I need to see that headline, that header with an image, and that right there, folks. That header with that image and that headline text, right? That right there is your email. If you can't get these things right, the subject line, the preview text, the header, then you're they're just not gonna read on. They're not gonna read on. So, if you have a gigantic logo, it takes up you have to scroll to get into an image because you've got this giant logo. You're missing out. Make sure no one has to scroll to see that header with the headline, your title text, your logo. Make sure that they can get the gist of your email right when it opens. If it's good, if you've signaled exactly what you were trying to entice them, with, or you were signaling this is what this email is about, then they're gonna scroll. They're gonna scroll and they're gonna read, and this could be a blog article, this could be promotional information, this could be so many different things that are in this email, but as long as you've captured them with that header, you will get them to read on. Now, the other thing you always wanna do with whether it's a website, email, social post, you want to have different calls to action. It can be the same thing, the action could be the same thing, but you could have different ways. You could have, hyperlink text that you see as underlined, and you click on it to go and do the thing, to schedule the appointment, to go look at your landing page. You can have buttons on the page, you can have images that you want people to click on. Get crazy with it. You want people to click the email. You want them to do it, but you have to have those sprinkled throughout because if you wait for that call to action at the very bottom of the email, if I have to scroll forever, especially on my phone, you're going to get me. I'm going to crap out. I'm not going to get to the very end. Okay. So, you need to make sure that there's plenty of off ramps throughout the email that all make sense, right? They're not breaking up the content and making it confusing to digest. It's all woven in very thoughtfully. Okay. And getting back to just to talk about mobile, 61% of travel emails are opened on mobile devices. How do you like that? Because I bet you many of you do not look at a mobile preview or send a test email to yourself, look at it on desktop, and then look at it on your phone. Now, I feel like I was being very judgy by saying many of you. I'm just trying to be real because I've done it. I've approved emails and I haven't clicked, "Oh, let me go over and look at this email in the mobile preview." Sometimes when you do that, you find out, well, I've got too much spacing here, or I made my headline text, I made it too big, or my images are too big. Somebody is going to have to scroll to get to anything of value. So, uh, Sorry, all of a sudden I saw Erica. Thank you for your message about my sound. She was trying to get a hold of me on my phone too. So you want to make sure that the experience on mobile is your priority when you're designing an email, which is not the way you do it. Most of us are crafting emails on a desktop, so therefore we look at the desktop preview. You're missing out if you don't, plug it in on desktop and then look over every single email service provider. The broadcast email platforms allows you to view desktop, tablet, mobile. They might just do mobile, the majority of them, but all of them have that ability to view it. But then also you can send a test email to yourself and look at it in both environments. Another thing with emails, especially with mobile, or thinking mobile first, if you make your email too long, Gmail in particular will truncate anything after, I'm not sure exactly how many lines or how many characters, but if you're having to do a lot of scrolling, then it truncates it just so it's not loading that information in its email platform. So somebody might not go to that trouble. Now, if you do have a lot of information that you're trying to convey to your reader, give them the summary in the email, get them excited about that and about it, and then send them to a landing page. Okay, that's your way to communicate all the information. Don't put it all in one email. And some email service providers will warn you as you're designing the email. They'll say this it looks a little long, and this might get truncated when it is deployed to Gmail users. So these warnings are there for to help you. They're not there to hurt you. They're there to help you. So try to think about how can I give the person, the reader, the story without it having to be an endless scroll or essentially an ebook in email form. Okay. So subject line, preview text, header, and think about mobile first as you are designing it. Now, oops, let's see. So we're going to talk about content that captivates your audience, but I want to pop over here and look at the chat because I have seen that there's some chat going on here. Let's see. Uh, all right. Sorry, there was a lot of chatter about my audio. So Kara joins us and she said, she's got an email. This is when I was asking about who has an email or a newsletter. And Kara said, I've got one and I send it once a week on Wednesday. And I love that, Kara, because I do receive your email newsletter and I have for a while. I love that you have made that goal for yourself. It has to go out on Wednesday. I'm glad that you've committed to it. And I have watched your email evolve. It tells a story. It's interesting. It's fun. Another thing that you do with your email that I love is you are true to your brand, but you are also true to yourself. So I definitely feel your personal brand is woven in there, and I feel like you consistently deliver that. I hope that you're seeing good results with your email, but that having that commitment to getting your newsletter out, I know it's a lot of work, or it's definitely a commitment to do it, but that kind of frequency, that's good. That's good. Now, some people might say, "Oh, well, I don't wanna overwhelm people with emails." Again, you're thinking about your email experience. There are some weeks where I don't see a single email. I'm too focused on something else that I'm doing, right? So, I'm gonna miss that email. I'm gonna miss Kara's email. But then she surfaces again, and I have another chance to engage with her. That's perfectly fine, okay? Don't, don't hold back. Don't hold back, okay? Let's see. Rocky said, I have a newsletter. I drop it once a month, but do price alerts and deal alerts about once every 2 weeks. I think that's great. Look at these. Both Kara and Rocky have these rules that they have set, right? Kara's doing a newsletter once a week, Rocky once a month. But then the other thing he's doing is he's saying, hey, price alert. So not knowing exactly how you've structured your email, Rocky, but I imagine you having this kind of structure and these rules in place allow you to craft a marketing email that's telling a story, telling the story that you want to tell without bogging it down with promotional messages. Like you could be promoting a destination or a travel experience, but you're not necessarily getting into, here, deal alert, right? That's a different message. So you're probably training your audience to know the difference, right? Like, oh, here's Rocky's a monthly message. But man, I love looking out for those deal alerts, right? Like that's a different mentality. I mean, it's gonna be bite sized. It's gonna get to the point. I love that. There's no right or wrong. Well, I guess the wrong would be uh, not doing, not sending communications. That would be wrong. That is a huge fail. But Rocky, I love this. Kara, I
Yeah,
like this.
girl.
That's a two. Oops.
Yeah, girl.
2 yeah girls there. Uh, Okay. So I got a question, and JT, I don't know your name, and I do remember that we talked about this. So, still trying to figure out how to send newsletters without using her home address, and that is a part of the Spam Compliance Act information. And I remember you reaching out to me about this. And Laura, I sent if you're still on, I while I don't know the handle JT, I do know that, I asked the team to check in on her about the home address. Uh, Hey, JT, if you can drop your name in there in the chat just so I can, track it down because so what she's referring to is in setting up Email Plus, having to have the her home address entered. She doesn't have a business address, she has her home address entered in for the spam, uh, uh, compliance, information, and I can't remember what the answer was. So you caught me on that one, but, if you wanna just email me, joshua@worldvia.com, Laura and I will, dig into that. Let's see. Christine said, and I don't have those for you. She said, I'd love to see samples of other newsletters. I completely overthink layout and what to include. Christine, I love that you were being vulnerable and talking about that. Like I need some inspiration here. Guys, this is your chance if you have a newsletter, send drop it in the chat right now so Christine can sign up to receive your newsletters. Uh, she can get inspired. Maybe you sign up for her newsletter. Christine, I will say that um, the we sometimes we put a lot of emphasis on the layout, the design, and believe me, it is important. I mean, you want to make things visually appealing, but the content, the frequency that you're communicating with your audience, that's always going to overrule any design. In fact, a few years ago in the expert community, these people who are selling their expertise, coaches, things like that, um, they moved away from these very designed emails with the images and the headers, all the things that I was just talking about, to a white background and just clean text, almost like a standard email that you would send to somebody in Outlook or Gmail. And that it was working extremely well. I don't know today how effective it is. Well, that's not true. I know that I've seen some tests recently that we've done with a plain text email, and that has performed extremely well. So, like my whole point in saying this is the information and being consistent with communicating with your audience, that is where the magic happens, and over time, you can up your design game, but the stories that you're delivering and the way that you're communicating with your audience is always going to win. So stop overthinking, Christine. I know Christine, she does overthink, but man, what she does is amazing. So I love it. I love it. Let's see. Rocky said, I'm still new, but I find that a lot of people sign up for my newsletter at shows and forget about me. My email is a gentle reminder that I am still there. That is perfect. I've talked about this before. Making sure that you have on your website, making sure that you have your email sign up on your website very clear, very easy to find. Um, it is a way to capture those people who are like, "I'm not ready to buy. I'm not a warm lead at this point," right? But, maybe I'm going through my phone while I'm at my kid's gymnastic practice, and I'm searching for things, you know, because 'cause I'm thinking about this vacation I wanna take with my husband, blah, 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 and I'm just popping around in different places. When I see that email newsletter, I'll sign up for it. So I will get something in my inbox, so then I will be reminded to contact them or, you know, do a deeper dive. So I love that this example. Rocky does these shows. forget about him. So the fact that he's doing this on a regular basis is like, haha, I remember Flights and Fables. I'm going to reach out. Uh, let's see. Kara Inc. Said, I have a newsletter. I send it on Wednesday. Oh, sorry. That was Carrie. Kara. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, that is the one thing when you're on different devices, when you're watching the live broadcast across different platforms, you have to make sure that you're commenting as who you want to comment as. Let's see here. And Kara said, I enjoy thinking up clever subject lines. You know what? It shows because I will say, and I know you. So when I see your company name, I automatically think of you. But I have noticed that your subject lines definitely have your touch to them. So I feel, connected to that. So great, great, great. Let's see here. Oh, and there's some comments going back and forth about Rocky's newsletter, his subscribers. I love it. I love it. But I want to hit Rocky commented based on what I was talking about with the open rate, saying that 30% was good. He has a 38% open rate. You know what? You get that.
Yeah, girl.
Oh man, that applause is going forever. Fantastic, Rocky. That's amazing. And that goes to show that the people who are joining your list are people who want to hear from you, and you also have delivered on what their expectations were. So there's a lot of ways that you can dissect or investigate why your emails are starting to perform poorly. And there's just a lot of things that you can look at. But if it's 38% and all of a sudden next month you're starting to see it averaging out around 25%, the way I would look at that is maybe something changed in the message that you were delivering, and so your audience got disengaged, or your frequency is off. Maybe you're communicating too much. So that doesn't sound like a problem for you right now, but I'm just saying this is how you can start to use the open rate. So the main thing I look at open rate is that subject line, and if it's fluctuating week to week, it's a subject line problem, right? If it bounces back with a better subject line or a different subject line, then I'm like, okay, that subject line, while I thought it was good at the time, maybe I need to rethink that. So there's lots of ways when you're looking at things very objectively like this, knowing what gets people to open the email, that right there is a way that you can start to fix things, right? Make it better. All right, I want to make sure I get through this. And Kara said hers is averaging 35 to 40%. This does not surprise me, guys. Does not surprise me. Erica's given a TM. This is fantastic, fantastic. All right, it's Jessica. All right, thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. Um, we're gonna find you, Jessica. We're gonna find you, and we're gonna help you with that. All right. All right. Let me get back to what we were going to talk about, and that is content that captivates your audience. So here's where I wanted to give you some inspiration and some ideas of things that you could start to, and I would even take like an Excel spreadsheet or even just a piece of paper, and I would drop these three categories of content on a piece of paper or spreadsheet and start to plug out your content calendar based on these things. This right here, now you can always do other things. You can always add other types of content. But this is what I've seen and other marketers have seen within the travel space work. And for you, if you're just getting started or you're refining your email, starting here would be a great way to systematize your content creation. And if you are using AI tools, uh, a great way to focus your prompts to get good outputs that can help fill your content. Okay. Create the emails for you. Oops, didn't mean to do that. What did I do? All right. So Destination spotlights. This is a whole category of content. None of this should be like this massive surprise to you. But when you start thinking about it as these buckets that you need to create content for, it can help you be way more focused and more efficient with your time. So, destination spotlights, share those insider tips, not generic information. And by generic information, I mean, things like, "Oh, the average temperature is blah, 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 blah," and I don't know, just the warm beaches, the sandy beaches, blah, 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 blah. Give some personality to these destinations. Obviously, you wanna sell them, right? These are things that you're passionate about. So, if you're getting really just broad general information, you're missing out on this opportunity to show who you are as a company and who you are as an advisor. What is your take on this destination? Um, come up with information that you think your audience would love, but also the audience that you're trying to attract to sell these different things. What's important to them? Okay. So, an example of that would be if you were so let's take a country like Jamaica, okay? Jamaica has a lot of different experiences for a traveler. Uh, if my audience is more of, that adventurer type person, okay? Then for me to talk about Jamaica and focus in on flop and drop, uh, on the beach, okay, that's that's a that's a disconnect, and that's not who you're trying to reach. So if and some of your people might want that, right? But if overall you're trying to reach those people who are in your audience and they are the people that like adventures and you are good at it, you love it. In fact, when you go to any destination, it's like, what is the fastest thing I can ride? What is the most daredevil experience I can have? Or what is the most active thing I can do, right? If that's a part of your brand, then allow that to show up in these destination spotlights, even down to some of your personal guidance around things to do in these places. So you can talk about a destination, you can talk about the people, you can talk about the culture, you can talk about the different events that are going on. There's so many things that you can talk about, especially for a bite-sized thing like an email. But make sure that whatever content you're putting out is geared towards the type of travel you wanna sell, and the type is appealing to the type of customers that you have or that you want to have. And the reason why I keep saying that you want to have is you might be collecting people that, into your email list that aren't all the same, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, you're never trying to be everything to all people. You are true to your brand and who the type of products and services that you want to sell. And sometimes you might even be converting some of those people who maybe don't fit your mold right away. You're converting them by how great you are at telling your story. So be true to your story, make sure it's focused on what you want to sell, and create this category of destination spotlights because it will allow you to add variety to your newsletter, and you will be always, 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 always think about how you can add value to your audience. That doesn't mean that they everyone's going to buy from you. And that's okay. If you always approach all your content creation activities with how can I add extreme value to my audience, I guarantee you that will pay off. Okay. So, great content around destination, client success stories. So, testimonials have been proven to increase engagement by 23%. Okay. Which is, I mean, we know this, right? If you're looking at a new restaurant, you look to see does anyone else like this restaurant, right? You look at 4 different, gloves that look pretty much the same on Amazon. You look at the ratings, right? These triggers help us make a decision. Now, what I have seen works really well in this client success story space while still like beating on your chest saying, "Look at how wonderful I am," right? You're still doing that, you're still showing that people like you, but adding extreme value is to take some of these success stories and tell the full story of not necessarily working with you, like, allow them to infer that in the way that you unpack the story, but give examples of these amazing trips. I'm so excited. I had clients that just returned from Ireland and they did this, this, and this. They flew in, da 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 da. Um, and then I don't know. They ate all the food and they did all the things and they kissed a stone. I don't know. They did all the things. So you're telling the story. What are you doing? You're actually painting the picture of a trip that your clients could go on. Okay. Perfect. And since you already planned that trip, then when someone emails you and says, "Oh my gosh, I want to do that. I want it that way." Okay. Then that's very easy. That becomes very scalable for you to provide that for your clients. So it's a success story, and maybe you do have their testimonial in there. But if you don't, you can still take the amazing feedback you got from your client, or just your observation of their trip, and you're like, okay, this is good. I'm gonna plant the seed. So you're doing it in a different way than the destination spotlight. I mean, you're still talking about a destination, but you're actually talking about the trip that you crafted. So I feel like you having these categories helps you again have this variety and it helps you say, okay, on Wednesdays, I do, or maybe the first week of the month, I do a destination spotlight. The second week of the month, I do these client success stories, whether it's a straight up testimonial or it's this play by play of a trip that I put together. And then another one that you can add, and maybe you do this, maybe you skip a week. I don't know. I just have three here. So, seasonal travel ideas. So, align with 3 to 6 month planning windows here. So, when you know it's Alaska season, right? And when people are going to either be traveling or buying, I mean, really, you're looking at buying. Align your content calendar with information about these destinations or these different products that align with when somebody's going to be in the consideration stage for actually making that purchase so they can go on that trip. Now, all different parts of the world, different types of trips, they all have different buying windows and different buying patterns. And that you're going to learn, your BDM is going to be a fantastic resource for that. Our team is a great resource for that. Erica and Laura on the call right now, they would be fantastic resources for that. So there's plenty of ways that you can find out when somebody is when somebody should buy this type of trip, right? If this is what you're wanting to sell, how far out do they do it 2 years out? Do they do it 1 year out, 6 months out? What is it, right? But know that even though that's when they're buying, you need to start nurturing them to make that decision. So plan your calendar out to follow that cycle. There is no point. There's no point. I'm just going to tell you if you wanted to focus on Valentine's vacations, okay? Just because it's February, I mean, yes, you can say happy Valentine's Day, but don't start banging on about a Valentine's Day vacation because unless you're trying to do it at the Holiday Inn in Wilkes Barre, you miss the window to book flights and things like that to get out and going. Now, planted or for sure, there's ways that you can go last minute, but if you're really trying to nurture your clients to buy and plan for the trips throughout the year for throughout the years, you gotta think about when somebody is really considering purchasing and, just how that falls within the year for normal people. Now, there's always gonna be those abnormal people. I heard somebody, yesterday tell me that, they decided to take their family, to Tulum for a week, 2 weeks before they were going to go. They were in an airport, they were traveling for work, and they said, "Okay, I just wanna take my family on a vacation for a week to Tulum." That's not gonna happen all the time. A lot of families need to plan that stuff out. So there are gonna be some of those unique situations. But I guarantee you, if you think about the true cycle, the true when people are considering, they're thinking about these trips to when they actually need to get them booked if they want to travel by a certain date. This is going to help you have a sense of purpose. You're going to have more structure around your content calendar. But these three categories right here, I know every single month you could do at least 3 newsletters and broadcast emails around this, and then maybe that 4th one is what Rocky was talking about. Here's a deal alert or some kind of special promotion. I should have thought about adding that here, but I didn't. So create this, and then it makes it much easier for you to find the content you need. So you might have 17 destination spotlights, just you can think of them right off the top of your head, and if you can't, I'd go to AI and start, tapping that for some help. But the client success stories might be something that you need to go and find inspiration for, or, really go through your emails and find things that inspire you to tell client success stories. And then also, like I said, the seasonal travel dates. If you're just getting started, you don't necessarily know those. And that's where tapping your BDM is extremely helpful because they know and they want to have that conversation with you. They absolutely want to have that conversation with you. Um, all right, so now let us talk about design. All right, I know I said the storytelling was the most important thing, but we do need to talk about design. You got to make it pretty. You gotta take advantage of all of us and all of our different styles and in receiving information. So while I was just saying that the plain text emails, have been working for a lot of experts, in our environment, great images of destination, I mean, they definitely work, they definitely help, and there's a plethora of images of different destinations. Suppliers have images that you can use, that you wanna make sure that it doesn't look like you just ripped it down off the web and it's all grainy and pixelated. You do want a nice quality image. You wanna make sure it's around, I'd say I would try to keep it under 150 KB. So that's the bite size of the image. It will still be crisp, but it will load fast on emails. If you are getting some of these high res images that are print ready, they're going to be megabytes. So they could even be gigabytes, probably megabytes. You want to resize those, and Canva does a great job of resizing images. Just you want to keep it small, keep the quality, but keep the image small. And I love images, whether it's on your website, email, social media. I love them with people look into camera or in pure joy because they are in a destination like Paris and they are loving life. Because guess what? That's what you're selling, folks. You're not selling that Eiffel Tower. You're selling what it feels like to be near the Eiffel Tower or see it out your window. Yeah. So images are great. Um, let's talk about white space. Okay. Now, if you are using any email platform, you have the ability to change the overall background of the email, and then you've got more of a body area for your email that you can control. Embrace the white space around your email, whatever color you're using, or if you are using white on white for the body of the email and the background of the email. If you're doing white on white, at least have a border around the body of your email. But that white space around your imagery, your text, the copy that you have on the page, it helps that stand out. You're controlling the environment that the email lives on, and it is okay to have this white space. You don't want people to have to scroll through a bunch of white space. That's no good. But if you see this example here, it's got a headline, a little graphic, it's got a couple of buttons there, but there's some space within this email, and That I'll call that the white space, even though it's a black email. It's giving room for people to clearly see, have some differentiation between the headers and the body. So this example right here is showing you an email that is spaced out. Is this a travel email? No, it's not. This looks like a a tech email. I mean, that's not exciting, but really just to show you some of that space around the text. And then if that was the body of my email and I had it on a white background, kind of like the way this image is reflecting it here, that's good too. And I'm sure you get plenty of emails where you see that distinction between the body of the email and the background of the email. Uh, that it's there for a reason. It helps us focus, and it's not so crowded that we get distracted. All right. And then color psychology. Now, this is where you can get kind of quirky with it. You can definitely look up, what colors mean what, or what kind of behaviors they inspire. Here, I've got an example of blue builds trust, orange creates urgency. Don't overthink that. It is interesting though. So in our emails, we have a palette that has a couple of purples, we've got like a coral orange color, and we've got a magenta. The magenta is more that bold color that, hey, look at me, I'm right here. So that was the one that we use for our buttons on most of our tools and within our emails. That signifies a call to action. This is what we want. You need to take action on this, and we're pretty consistent about using that magenta for those calls to action. So whether you're getting an email about an event, about a promotion or something, that's telling you, okay, that's how you go and do the thing or get the information. So we've created that kind of that rule in the way that we craft things. We also use that magenta as a highlighter in different places, and then the other colors just create this family. Now that is a family of content. Now that is a part of our brand. And I highly recommend that you incorporate your brand colors within your emails, but think about if you don't have a color that drives action, find one that works with your color palette. Again, don't overthink it. I'll go back to Christine saying that she would love to see different formats and designs. Don't overthink it. But creating some of these rules, just like I said, we have the magenta as our call to action and our highlighter. That again makes it a lot easier for you to create and craft. Okay. All right, let's move on here. So let's talk about segmentation and personalization strategies. Now, you can spend a lot of time segmenting your audience, that is saying, here's my audience, so many people are customers, so many people are not customers, so many people are represent families, so many people are single, some people have traveled to certain destinations. You can really go crazy with segmentation. uh, I am of the school of thought that, if your list is not in the hundreds, you can spend a lot of time segmenting and it wouldn't matter. You just need to get the email out to your audience, and as your list grows, then you can start to segment them not only by the information that about each of the, audience members, but also you can look at how they're engaging with your emails. That's another way to segment them. Here's somebody who opens every single email. Here's somebody that opens it occasionally, right? So you can segment it in different ways. So I don't want you to overthink this, because this can really start to bog you down. But I would think about the content that you're creating for the content calendar you're creating, to say, okay, am I am I talking about, trips that fit the budget of my audience, their travel style, kinda going back to the flop and drop versus the adventurer, life stage, timing, seasonal preferences, booking patterns, things like that. You can start to figure out how you can craft these broadcast messages that still align with what you know about your audience, and ways that you can start to personalize your emails. So I didn't want to go too far into this, because for the most part, I think many people struggle around the subject line, the preview text, things like that. But know that segmentation is helpful. And it also, the more you know about your audience, the better you can craft content that will get them to take action. So, testing and optimizing your newsletter, you can use something called A B testing. You can test one element at a time, starting with subject lines. I sent to so many of my audience this email, and it had this subject line, and so many of this, so many people from my audience got this email with a different subject line. Out of each group, which email subject lines seem to work better? That can be very helpful to get information. But again, with the A/B testing, if your list is not larger, then you're gonna spend a lot of time slicing and dicing your audience, and I don't think that that's gonna be the best use of your time. When your list grows and gets bigger, then most definitely. I think the biggest thing I would take from this optimizing and testing is knowing that you can tweak little things and see if that changes the outcome and be in that cycle of continuous improvement. That is where I think your time would be best spent. Best send times, test what works, just like Kara and Rocky have set times that they're sending. And then the key metrics, beyond the open rate, you can track the click-through rate. How many people who opened this email actually clicked through and did something or went to a page or contacted me or scheduled time? The same thing with the conversion rate. If I sent this email to 100 people, 2 people actually bought the, whatever I was, presenting. This conversion rate helps you see what works, what messaging worked, what types of calls to action worked. You do want to look beyond that open rate, but for the most part, the open rate is where you're going to see if that subject line is landing, right? And then Kara and Rocky, you guys are crushing it with your open rate. So now I'd be digging in. What does your click-through rate look like? Where can you improve that? What about those conversion rates, right? That's your next step. So always look at that. Here you go. Here's your implementation plan. I'm going to leave it up for a minute here. Audit your current performance. If you are sending emails, look at all these things. So the industry benchmark for travel agency newsletters for the open rate is 20.3%. So overall marketing, 30% is amazing. So that's why I would say between 20 and 30% is where you want to be. If you're way north of 30%, kudos to you. Very, very exciting. But if you're not, know that this is where you want to be. Select your email platform. If you're with us, use Email Plus. It's hands down the best email platform I've used. But if you're not with us, then there's other email platforms. I love MailChimp too. MailChimp is a good one. Create a content calendar. Use those buckets and plan out when you want to drop certain messages that align with what you want to sell, and launch that newsletter for sure. Yeah. All right. This I'm going to wrap up, guys, but I would love to know, as I'm closing, is there anything that we talked about today that inspired you to do something this week? Or, it doesn't have to be with your newsletter. It could be with so many other things. Like sometimes you're talking about something and then all of a sudden something pops in your mind. Drop that in the comments. I'd love to hit those before we close out. I want to thank you again for being here and spending some time with me. If you're watching it live or on demand, I know that these investments in your time to work on travel marketing, it pays off. I hear it all the time. I'm so excited, but it takes you showing up and it takes you committing to being here. Now, like I said earlier, if you are not a part of our Facebook group, please go to Facebook and search for Travel Marketeers and join us there and share some information. Share what you're working on. I'm sure you will find other people in that group that are looking for help, or maybe they've actually experienced this. Let's see. I see Rocky has a comment here. Oops, I have too much going on there. All right, let's see. Rocky here. He said, I was just having a talk about segmentation with Laura the other day. This is the stage I'm at right now, trying to find a way to segment them and how. That's fantastic. So you're at that stage now and you recognize that. And with the performance of your email, that's perfect. It's not that I don't want you to segment your email list. I just feel like when someone is in a space of, 20 email subscribers, segmenting that list is not helpful. Knowing who the audience is, what it's made up of, super helpful. But truly creating different communications for a handful of people, not necessarily the best use of your time. But you're at the point now where you've got a bigger list, segment it, and maybe you just start with two different segments. Here's my highly engaged people. Here's the not so engaged people. That's a segmentation, or breaking it down into, here are people that want to receive this type of destination information or trip information, and here's people who need to be maybe inspired to get to that point. So there's so many different ways. Just look for what makes sense for your business, because ultimately you're trying to add value, you're trying to get people to take action, but the email itself needs to be working for you in telling your brand story and getting people more engaged with you. That's your email needs to be the best representation outside of your website. Your email needs to be that best representation of your brand and you delivering on your brand promise. So think about that as you segment your list and work on your email communication. Rocky, I'm so excited to see where this takes you. Guys, I am going to sign off. Jessica, I will follow up with you about the question that you had. Thank you. And guys, I'll see you next week for another great topic. Take care of yourself. All right. See you real soon. Bye.